Welcome. My name is Charlotte Bradley of Prestigious Paralegal. I am your demand queen. I am so happy that I finally started my YouTube channel. This has been a long journey. I've been telling myself I'm going to do this for some time, and I just have not done it. So let's jump right into it. On my channel, we'll be speaking about all things personal injury demand. All things personal injury demands. I also will be giving some bonus content about litigation, and I also will be having some story times. And I love shoes. I am obsessed with shoes. I love my pumps. I am a shoe craze fanatic. I've been doing very well lately, not overdoing it with the shoes, but I say that to say occasionally I'll throw in the little shoe cam, show you what I'm working with. Not so much of one of my new girls, because I really have cut back on buying shoes just because there's nowhere to put them. So that is what we're going to be doing. And I will also, just to add that in, have a story time with regards to my journey as a personal injury paralegal. I have many stories with regards to clients, and maybe dealing with coworkers, and maybe a firm I was in, or maybe an incident that happened. We'll do story times, but not as often as we will be talking about, personal injury demands and all things personal injury, basically. Just a little background. I am a professional paralegal. I've been a paralegal for 17 years. Of 15 of those years, I have been in the personal injury world. I started out as my first job coming out of college. I worked in a civil rights firm, which I thought that was going to be my niche. I'll never go anywhere else. I love helping people. This is it for me, and that did not work out to be the case. I still can help people through personal injury. Very passionate about my demands, what I do, and the field. So before we get into any type of, before we dive deep into my topic for today, let me just put a disclaimer out. I am not an attorney. So why am I telling you this? The disclaimer is that I cannot practice law. What does that mean? That means that I cannot give out legal advice. I cannot advise you in any way, shape, or form of how to handle a situation. Practicing law is illegal. I'm in Pennsylvania. Paralegals are not allowed to practice law. So even if I know the actual answer, which 9 times out of 10 I do, I won't be able to tell you, because I will not be crossing that line of practicing law. But I can talk about legal procedures. Okay? That's not giving anyone advice. That's just giving you procedural, or how to do things in the legal world. So with that said, let's jump right into it. Personal injury demands. What are they? A personal injury demand is a compilation of a letter, records, and documents relating to your accident to prove how your accident happened, what your injuries were, where your accident occurred, so on and so forth. So today we'll just be talking about what you need to include in the personal injury demand, and what your letter should be clear and concise on. So first and foremost, you have a demand letter that goes on top of all of your documents that's related to your accident. And your medical records for the treatment that you received as a result of the injury. So I am a very thorough person. It absolutely drives me crazy when people do not have all of their records. That's another topic. But what do you need? What is the most important things? Okay, your demand letter needs the date of accident, the accurate date of accident. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you, sometimes this date will be off a day or two. It's up to you to fix it, because that date is going to be vital to your case, especially when you open a claim. We'll talk about opening claims in another video, but your demand letter needs to have the date of accident, okay? It needs to have the claim number. It needs to have the name of the insured, for whose insurance company that you are sending the demand to. And first and foremost, it needs to have the name of the client that you are sending the demand on. So when you address the insurance carrier, your next line is going to be RE semicolon, and then you put our client, semicolon, name of your client. You're insured, semicolon. I'm sorry. Is it colon? It's not semicolon, it's colon. Colon, guys. My bad. So it's going to be your insured, the name of the insured, the policy holder. That's the name of the insured. If you want to put driver, if the driver was different from the owner, then you could put driver, okay? And that goes underneath. These are all stacked, guys. Is there our client, your insured, colon, name and insured, date of accident, colon, the date of accident written out. So if the accident happened on January 1st, 2021, you need to put January 1, 2021. That's not, you don't have to do it that way. You could do the /1, 121. I just prefer to write it out so it's clear. That's just my way. And then you're going to put claim number and make sure you have the proper claim number. Now, after that, you're going to address your adjuster, provided you know who the adjuster is. And then in the body of your letter, you need to make sure you have these things. 1, you need to make sure you give a brief description of how the accident happened, okay? How the accident happened. They need to know that. On or about, January 1st, 2021, our client, Mr. Brown, was operating the motor vehicle traveling on X Street near its intersection with Y Street, when suddenly and without warning he was struck by the operator, or struck by a vehicle operated by X, owned by Z, or if it's both in the same, is operated and owned by, causing, my client's vehicle to be pushed into a pole, or pushed into the next pole, the vehicle in front of them, or whatever your description is. You give a brief description, about a sentence long, period, after the description of however the accident happened, however, you put in how the accident occurred. That needs to be clear, because that's going to be one of the things that the adjuster needs to know. How did this accident happen? Do not make them call you to find out how the accident happened. That's not going to be good. That's just going to delay the information. They need to know that. The next thing you want to put, as a direct and proximate cause of the accident, my client sustained injuries too. You have to have the injuries in there. Now, do I mean if your client had, this massive surgery that goes in there? Depends on the severity of the accident. But you could just be very vague, okay? And address the parts of the body that your clients injured in the accident. So if they hit their head on the dashboard, You know, if they injured their neck, if they did a jerk, you know, front and back, you know, if they hit their knee, if the steering wheel hit them in their chest. When you review those records and you review your intake sheet, then you need to make sure you pinpoint every single part of the body that was affected at the time of the accident. So if they hit their head, you put head. If they hurt their neck, you put neck. If they hurt their back, you put back. Let's just do an example. Your client hit their head, their neck hurts, their back hurts, and also struck their left knee, which is common on the underside of the dashboard, where your leg rests when you're driving. So I would put something like, as a direct and proximate result of said accident, my client, or Mr. or Mrs., however you want to put it, just is up to you, as your discretion, but you need to put the injuries in there. So you put, my client sustained injuries to their head, neck, back, left shoulder, left knee. And if your left knee had a meniscus tear that required surgery, after you put left knee, you put in parentheses, requiring surgery, in the parentheses, period. And then you go on and just put something vague, but you have to have the date of accident, how the accident occurred, and what injuries that your client sustained. Those are vital, because those are the questions that the adjuster need answers to. It has to be addressed. Do not go over those vital details, because you will get a phone call or email saying, hey, can you give me a brief description of how the accident happened? That should never happen. And then, depending on whether you put a dollar amount on it or not, your last line should be what your demand amount is. But that is not, you know, a necessity. It doesn't have to be in there. You can negotiate that later if you so choose to. I prefer to put a dollar amount, so that's 2, 3, 4 times what the case is actually worth. That way they can have some idea, okay, of when they evaluate the case, what you're looking for. So if you put 3 times what you evaluate the case to be worth, they're going to get over thinking that they're going to offer you, you know, 1/3 of what you're asking for. You guys meet in the middle. Everybody wins, because the best settlement is when everybody is unhappy. Keep that in mind. So those are just the takeaways for today. And let's just briefly describe what needs to be in the packet. I like to break my packets up. I like to have my records and documentation very organized. My documents are organized in chronological order, being as though the first initial date of accident, date of treatment, not accident, wherever it was. If they were transported ambulance, you include that ambulance report. That is Exhibit A. And then you just go in chron order and you list all the treatment, all the providers, or you put your records in order for all the providers. The thing that you guys need to know is that you want the adjuster to be able to easily navigate your demand and not call you until they have an offer, okay? Which means that you need to have everything related to that accident in that packet. If it was a motor vehicle accident and it was property damage, you need photos and you need a property damage estimate, or your property damage repair statement. How much did it cost the insurance company to repair that vehicle? That needs to be included so they can see the extent of the damage to the vehicle, you know, so that they can, you know, evaluate the injuries sustained based on the extent of the damage to the vehicle. Oh, okay, there's pretty bad damage. Now, we all know that these cars aren't made like they were when my mom, you know, was driving cars, some in the 70s and the 80s. We all know that the cars just crash up. I mean, you could get those little Matchbox cars, those Hot Wheel cars, and the metal on those are stronger than the metal that the cars that we're driving every single day. But an extensive damaged car is still proof that this was a pretty serious accident. Even if the bumper is smashed in, it shows how severe the impact of the vehicle, the impact to the vehicle that you were in, how severe that impact was. All right, so you definitely need all of those things in there, but your cover letter for sure, do not forget to put the date of accident, the description of the accident, and the injuries that your client sustained. That is the most important things to put in there. And don't forget to reference your clients, the insured, the policyholder who you're sending this demand packet to. Otherwise, in the claim number, okay? Otherwise, your demand packet is going to get lost. They're not going to be able to review it because they can't find it, because everything is based on the claim number. Even when I take phone calls, I need to know what the claim number is that they're referring to. And on my side, I need to know on my end, I need to know the date of accident as a paralegal working in the legal office, because you have clients that got injured on January 1st in an accident, and then on January 10th they fell. It happens, guys. It happens. Sometimes not that close, but it happens. They can have six accidents. I call them, you know, career claimants. That's just my word for them. But it just seems like they get in an accident quarterly. So, or annually, or something to that effect. But it does happen, so you really have to be very cautious of your date of accident. And if you find out, the minute you find out the date of accident is inaccurate, you need to touch bases and get that corrected immediately. All right. Police report, if you have one, should always be right after your demand letter and before your packet is compiled. So that is all I have for today. I hope that this content was helpful for you. I'll be covering many topics, but I am a talker and I can go off topic, so I am not going to spend too much more time on this. I just wanted to get to the basics, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thank you for tuning in, and the next video will be Sunday or Monday. I will drop a new video every week starting this week. Thank you for your time. Have an amazing day.